Hello, and welcome. Today, we're redissecting a seismic shift in European Union policy that carries profound implications for the global automotive industry. Climate targets and investment strategies. The European Commission has officially tabled a proposal to amend its landmark 2035 ban on new internal combustion engine vehicles. This represents what many are calling the most significant reversal in the bloc's recent climate policy, a move that comes after intense lobbying from industrial powerhouses, particularly within the German and Italian automotive sectors. At its core, this is a story of pragmatic concession versus climate ambition, where the EU is recalibrating its strategy, seemingly replacing an absolute ban with a more flexible compliance system. This adjustment acknowledges the immense pressure of global competition and the current market realities, effectively opening the door for transitional technologies like hybrids to coexist with full electrification. We'll delve into the specifics of these proposed changes, analyze the sharply divided reactions from industry stakeholders, and place this decision within the broader global economic context. The most critical change in this proposal is the move away from the initial mandate requiring 100% of new cars and light trucks sold from 2035 to be zero-emission vehicles, such as battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell models. Instead of this absolute cliff edge, the European Commission has introduced a more nuanced and flexible roadmap. The new headline target for 2035 mandates that car manufacturers must achieve a 90% reduction in fleet-wide CO2 emissions compared to 2021 levels. This seemingly small adjustment from 100% to 90% is in fact a monumental policy pivot. It carves out a 10% allowance permitting a certain portion of vehicles with internal combustion engines, likely advanced hybrids or plug-in hybrids, to remain on the market beyond the original deadline. To balance this concession and maintain a semblance of its climate commitments, the proposal introduces a system for offsetting this remaining 10% of emissions. This isn't a free pass. Automakers must invest in specific green technologies to earn the right to sell these non-zero emission vehicles. The framework outlines two primary pathways for this offset. First, manufacturers can gain credits by using low-carbon steel produced within the European Union in their vehicle construction, a measure designed to stimulate and reward investment in greening heavy industry supply chains. Second, they can utilize and promote the adoption of alternative fuels. This includes synthetic e-fuels, which are produced using renewable electricity and captured carbon, and advanced biofuels that do not compete with food production, such as those derived from used cooking oil or agricultural waste. This mechanism signals a strategic, if controversial, embrace of technological diversity to achieve decarbonization goals. The proposed amendments also introduce significant flexibility into the intermediate timelines leading up to 2035, providing automakers with more breathing room. For passenger cars, the original rigid target of a 55% CO2 emissions reduction by 2030, relative to 2021 levels, has been modified. The new proposal introduces a flexible 3-year window spanning from 2030 to 2032, allowing manufacturers a longer period to meet this crucial interim goal. This acknowledges the capital-intensive nature of the transition and the volatile market dynamics that can impact sales and production cycles. The commercial vehicle sector has been granted an even more substantial reprieve. The 2030 emissions reduction target for new light trucks has been loosened considerably, dropping from the originally planned 50% to a more achievable 40%. This particular adjustment reflects the unique challenges in electrifying the commercial fleet, which often requires longer ranges, higher payload capacities, and a more robust charging infrastructure than the passenger car segment. The announcement of this policy shift has predictably sent shockwaves through the industry, triggering a cascade of sharply divided reactions that expose the deep fissures within the automotive world. On one side, we have the supporters, primarily legacy automakers who have long argued for a more technologically neutral and phased approach. The Volkswagen Group, a dominant force in the European market, expressed its satisfaction, labeling the proposal a pragmatic and economically sound approach that aligns with current market conditions. This sentiment was echoed by luxury manufacturer Mercedes-Benz, which welcomed the increased flexibility and the move away from a singular focus on battery electric technology. BMW was even more direct, stating that this decision demonstrates the European Commission is no longer pursuing a technology ban as its guiding principle and explicitly recognizes the potential for a viable future for advanced internal combustion engines. This support extends to the national level, with Italy's Foreign Minister, Antonio Tajani, championing the decision as a crucial measure to protect an estimated 70,000 jobs within the Italian automotive industry alone. On the opposing side of this debate are the EV purists and environmental organizations who view this proposal as a detrimental step backward. The Climate Group, a non-profit organization, lamented the move as a tragic victory for the fossil fuel lobby over the burgeoning electric vehicle sector. Their argument is that this relaxation undermines the billions of euros that leading European companies have already invested in good faith to meet the original, more stringent targets. This frustration is acutely felt by automakers who went all-in on electrification. Volvo Cars, which has aggressively built out a comprehensive electric vehicle portfolio and publicly committed to a full transition, voiced strong opposition. Similarly, the CEO of Polestar, Michael Loskiller, issued a stark warning that this policy reversal weakens Europe's core industrial competitiveness and inflicts unnecessary harm on the environment. The influential Transport and Environment Campaign Group, T&E, was particularly scathing, with its director, William Todds, arguing that the EU is squandering valuable time and that clinging to internal combustion engines will not help European car makers become great again. A common thread among the critics is the serious concern that loosening these regulations will disincentivize the crucial large-scale investment needed to build out a comprehensive public charging infrastructure, a critical bottleneck that is already hindering EV adoption. They warn that this could cause Europe to cede further ground to global competitors, most notably China, where battery electric vehicles have already captured an astonishing 34% of the new car market in the third quarter. This significant policy recalibration in Brussels is not occurring in a vacuum. It is deeply intertwined with the challenging global economic context facing the automotive industry. Just recently, Ford Motor Company announced staggering losses of approximately $19.5 billion related to its electric vehicle program, a figure that underscores the immense financial strain of the EV transition. This financial pressure, coupled with what is being described as stagnant consumer demand for electric vehicles in key markets, forced Ford to cancel projects like the expansion of its F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck production in the United States. This situation highlights the fierce competitive landscape, where Western automakers are struggling to compete on price and scale with a flood of highly competitive and affordable models from Chinese manufacturers. In light of these global pressures, financial analysts at firms like Jefferies have observed that the global automotive industry appears to be undergoing a broader strategic shift. The trend is moving away from the pursuit of absolute hard cutoff targets for emissions and toward more flexible credit-based compliance systems, much like the one now being proposed by the EU. This approach allows for a more gradual, market-driven transition while still aiming for long-term decarbonization. It is crucial to remember that this is, for now, only a proposal. To become law, it must navigate the complex legislative process of the European Union, requiring formal approval from both the member state governments in the EU Council and the directly elected members of the European Parliament. The intense debate we are seeing now is just the opening salvo in what is sure to be a protracted political battle. The outcome will not only define the future of mobility in Europe, but will also send a powerful signal to automakers, investors, and policymakers around the world about the pace and direction of the global energy transition. We will continue to monitor these developments closely, as their financial and strategic implications will be felt for decades to come. Thank you for your time.